Hey guys, welcome to FTB Sports boxing preview show tonight. We're going to be talking Anthony Joshua and the Pulev fight tonight, joined by Wayne Savage. So any comments, anything like that, post them up, and we'll get through. I think Wayne, I don't know if you agree, but I think Joshua's going to knock out. I would say the latter round between 7 and 10, or potential one early 3.
You know what? I agree. I think the only thing I would say is I was quite impressed by the way Pulev weighed in. He looked like he had slimmed down. He's been inactive a while, and he had that bad injury. And I was expecting him to come in a little bit heavy. It doesn't. He looks there and he's up ready to fight, and we know he's tough. But I tend to agree with you. Joshua just has too many skills for him, you know.
Yeah,
it's not
definitely.
No, sorry, mate. Go on.
I just think he's just going to tuck him up nicely with his jab. He won't let Pulev don't like to fight on the inside either. So I think he'll just catch him with his jab, mate, and then out. Like I said, either the 3rd or for me 7 to 10 rounds in them latter rounds.
Yeah, you know what? I'm even going to go slightly earlier because that when Joshua gets that jab going, it can be lethal.
Yeah,
I'm going to go between 5 and 7. I think it'll be I think it'll be a hell of a force 4 rounds, if you know what I mean. I think Pulev is going to come up. He's going to come and he's going to try and Joshua out early. I think that's his only chance. So I think them first 4 rounds are going to be blistering start. I can't see him hanging in there.
He looked pretty up for it. Definitely in the weigh-in, you can see, mate. He's ready to fight, you know. And I agree. He's going to come out and try and put Joshua on his ass. But I just think Joshua's going to be too slick for him, mate. And he's going to work him down with that jab and finish him off. Hopefully, that's the plan that goes.
And listen, and this is always the problem, though. That every heavyweight's got whether it's Joshua they're going to fight or whether it's Fury they're going to fight. Fury and Joshua fought a million heavyweights like Pulev. Pulev's never fought a heavyweight like Joshua or Fury. And when he did Klitschko, he got beat. He got found out the one time he did.
Yeah.
So when you're judging him on that, just the record alone, I mean, listen, he might have the heart, and everyone's got a puncher's chance, but that's all I give him in this fight is a puncher's chance.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you fight back the Klitschko one, I think round he was knocked down 2 or 3 times in the first round by Klitschko, but he did carry on the fight. You know that went on. So he is a warrior. You know, I don't think he's going to go down.
Well, he's not gonna make it easy, but I mean, you know what? I struggle. How old is he again?
He's 39 years of age.
Yeah,
so,
that's something.
He's getting on.
And Klitschko was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, a few years back now. But I would say as well, I think Klitschko was more prime then than what he was when he fought John.
Yeah, possibly. But I think Joshua was a different animal to even what Klitschko was. You know, him and Fury have more about him than Klitschko did. I mean, we all know what that Klitschko jab was like. It was, I mean, that wasn't just a jab to set the table. That was a hurtful, spiteful jab that he had. But Joshua and Fury said, if you can negate that, what else has Klitschko got really in his armor? He didn't show a whole lot, but it's just not a lot of boxers could negate that jab. It was so good. So I think Joshua Fury beating Klitschko, I think that's too much form for Pulev. You know, I think these lads are on a different level to people like him.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, Joshua now, he's what, 24 fights, 23. I think 21 of those by knockout. You know, good Joshua as well. A really good ratio.
And listen, the one time Joshua's been beat, everyone likes to make fun of him because he got beat by a fat, small Andy Ruiz. But Even Freddie Roach, he used to coach Andy Ruiz before that first fight. Freddie Roach gave him a chance. So I listened to Freddie Roach and I was like, I might have a chance then if Freddie Roach rates in that highly. So, I mean, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened after that was Joshua went away and made them adjustments, and Ruiz didn't.
Yeah.
You know, and Joshua, I hope we see what we've seen against Ruiz in the rematch, because he looked a better Joshua than I had seen before that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Totally agree. I mean, a lot of people turn around and say that Joshua was trying to run through that, but I totally disagree. You know, he was picking Ruiz off with that jab. He cut him. He round the first or second. It was early. He caught Ruiz and he can cut him straight. You know, so I'm hoping he does the same game plan, but I think he'll be more forward this time.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you like to see from him. Sometimes I don't like it when Joshua gets too comfortable. He relies on that jab too much, then, and he doesn't let the other things go off it. And I'd like to see him come with again, going back to that weigh-in. That made things interesting for me yesterday watching, because they both obviously Pulev come to fight, but Joshua looked stone cold with everything he was doing.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't flustered. He wasn't dead angry. He was just inside. He was like, I'm going to burn you tomorrow. And I was like, I want to sit down with him tomorrow night. Come with that and you'll win this fight. I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah. I was going to say, you know, he hasn't had much of an amateur career, Joshua, either. You got to think, you know, he had a small amateur career. He's come up through the ranks, turned professional, and in my view, he's fought, you know, decent opposition. I don't think he's been guy. He sort of ducked and said, "Oh, I want an easy fight. I'll fight him." He's had Joseph Parker, Carlos Takam. I think, you know, was a brilliant boxer. Many, even what's his name? The one who just fought Dillian White.
Povetkin, there you go, yeah.
You know, he knocked him out in round 7.
And he never looked in trouble with any of them boys either, though, did he? That was the most important thing. He's been dropped once or twice in his career, but I've never really seen him badly hurt apart from Ruiz. You know, even if he's been dropped, he's been sloppy, he gets back up, he gets back on it. It's his tempo, more than anything. It's his tempo and his work rate, and in the end, that just gets the fighters. You know, they're like, oh, I can take his power, I can take his shots, and I can probably drop him with mine. But can you do that for 10, 12 rounds? You know, and more times people said, no, we can't hang with that for 12 rounds. So
yeah, exactly.
You know, I don't see a way you can win this fight tonight. But there we go. I'm here to be proven wrong, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a massive AJ fan, but not gonna lie, I'm worried tonight. I am worried tonight because I think there is that possibility that Pulev could get that. You know, it's heavyweight boxing. We've seen it happen. We see it happen with Dillian. You know, Dillian White was fight. He not on his other times. You know, he should have won that fight. And the one just turned that fight, and Povetkin was the winner.
And Dillian White was easily winning that fight as well. Right up until that knockout, that uppercut from hell, he was easily winning that fight. But like you said, heavyweight boxing is a different ballgame. Like, did you? I was just quickly. I was watching one of them undercards, and you get the lighter weights. We seen Conway was there. He did a good job, and you know, these lighter weight lads, they can stand there, they can trade. They're almost better fights to watch sometimes. Heavyweight boxing can turn on one punch.
Yeah, it literally is that one punch, and it can be game over. Did you see the Florian Markey fight earlier?
Yeah. I thought he
Yeah. You could see he was clearly disappointed. For me, he should have won that fight, and he's got a big following as well. He's got a big following, and you know, he was gutted.
He was disappointed. I mean, listen, the way I looked at it, it was a close fight. I'm not going to say like it wasn't a close fight, because it was. There was good action. It was a really good fight to watch. But he dropped him in the second. You're only fighting 8 rounds. And you've already scored a 10-8 round. That means already your man's got to win fucking 4. He's got to win the next 2. And I'm not. But the 4th round, I might have given him, actually, Stuart. I might have given him the 4th round. It was close. But the second round, 10-8. And he didn't win another round after that, in my eyes, for about 3 rounds. Then he had another good round. And I don't think he quite did enough. I think your man's got a lot of reason to be disappointed with that judging.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think another one to watch for tonight as well is the Lawrence Coley fight. He's been. I think he was meant to fight the other guy. He tested positive, so the fight was cancelled. Luckily enough, they got him a replacement. I think it'll be easy work for him tonight. Definitely a great prospect for boxing.
Yeah, and I haven't seen that much of him. But from what I've seen, I like him, and I think, you know what, I will keep following him. I think we have to keep following him. We'll see how he gets on tonight, I suppose. But this is a big night for him to shine, for all of these lads. You know, it's a big night on pay-per-view. Who was the young lad who fought Conway? I only just watched the fight and he got already slipped my mind, but he got beat by Conway. But he only got that fight on short notice, and he come to the fight and he went like, "Listen, okay, I've got this fight on short notice, but it's on a massive pay-per-view, Anthony Joshua on the card. Millions of people are going to be watching. I'm going to show up, and I'm not getting knocked out. I'm going to make it a good fight." And that's exactly what he did. If everyone does that tonight, then it's a success of a card, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just watching the Kuzman fight, I thought that he would get on a lot sooner because he again another great heavyweight. This one's gone the distance as well.
And that's the Kuzman fight, is it?
Holy, yeah. This one looks like gone the distance now. And another one coming up tonight, guys. Hughie Fury. He's had an up and down career, you know.
I've never rated him, if I'm being honest. I think he's trading off that Fury name a little bit. Every time I've watched him, I've always thought maybe tonight will be the night that I see what everyone's talking about, and I've never seen it. You know, to this day, I've never really caught my attention like that.
Yeah, me personally, I don't think in too far in definitely not for me. I've never really been a fan of him, but I think his brother Tommy, he's showing great prospects. There's definitely a lot of talent. Yeah,
I think Tommy could be the better fighter. Actually, he looks like he's got a lot of power, and he's very direct with his pressure. You know, he's very much. If he gets you on the ropes, he is not giving in. I've seen him fight, and I've much rather watching Tommy fight than I always have watching. What can't I remember his name now? The other Fury, but yeah, listen. It's one of them. Do you know what I think could make a good fight, though? Hughie Fury, and obviously Hughie has to win tonight. But maybe if Daniel Dubois is looking for a comeback fight, he's looking for a name that's he's not an irrelevant name in that division. Fury's still a bit of a name in the division, but I don't think he's as dangerous as some other people. If Daniel Dubois is looking for a quick comeback fight, or maybe not even that quick, but just someone, I'm not dropping too much out of the radar by fighting him. And people still treat him as a good prospect. And a lot of people rate him. I was thinking that could be a good little fight.
Yeah, agree. Very unlucky what happened with Daniel Dubois. I think he's got to be out a good few months with his eye. But I do think that would be a good sleep provide Fury to win tonight.
I suppose it's just. What would Fury think about that? If he wins tonight, he might be looking for something bigger even. You might be saying, no, why would I take Dan? Well, give me Joe Joyce. I don't want, do you know what I mean? I don't want Dubois. Give me Joyce. So, but down the line, these are the kind of fights that could be made a little bit, you know? Could be quite good for British heavyweight boxing anyway.
Definitely. I mean, I think it'd be a hard fight to make though as well, because of both on different platforms. I think that could be a stump block to get that fight on.
And that's a big problem all over boxing at the minute. You know, these promoters and these managers, and they're not getting the fights made. I mean, it's been that way for a while now, but especially in the last couple of years, it's been really. Some of the fights you think that could have been made, like Crawford should have already fought Spencer now. Do you know, that kind of way in that division? And these fights aren't being made. But surprisingly enough, this year throughout COVID, we've seen a lot of good fights. Exactly. So maybe things might change a little bit, you know. Hopefully.
Yeah, I agree. This damn Martin Bacoli won that fight. He beat Kuzman. So again, he's had a great start. Martin Bacoli, you know, he's showing signs of another good through. I reckon now we've probably got about. I think no at 10 o'clock for the clock walk for Josh. I've just seen here that he's a winner. Looking forward to this fight tonight.
I'm hyped for it because I think both of these lads are here to fight, and that's really what we want to see. What we're going to have to talk about afterwards is what they do in the ring. But I mean, listen, if someone gets knocked out in 2 rounds, I'd be surprised. But I'd also be surprised if it got dragged in 8 or in 6 or 7. If the Joshua who I want to show up goes up, I don't think it goes past 7. You know.
Yeah,
but
where do you see Joshua going after this? Do you see him making a fight with Tyson, or possibly maybe with Alexander Usyk? Because obviously, them both being on Matchroom, it's a lot easier to make the Usyk fight, and obviously he's mandatory to fight Joshua if the Fury fight don't go ahead.
Yeah. Well, there's even talks that Joshua might have to vacate the belt if he wants to fight Fury.
Yeah,
I've even heard people say about that. But in my opinion, if Joshua wins tonight, Fury's fight got pushed back. I'm still not sure on when. If they set a date for the Fury fight, it was meant to be the 5th of December. It got pushed back, but I haven't heard a definite date.
From what I know at the moment is Wilder is trying to push for this 3rd fight, but Fury's saying no, I'm not having any of it. So I just don't know where they're going to go with.
Yeah, no, listen, and I agree with Fury on this. Wilder had plenty of time to trigger that clause for the 3rd rematch, and he spent most of the month sacking trainers, then accusing people of cheating. His own camp, Fury, the disrespect he's shown. Why not just saying, all right, I got beat. He got beat the first time and he got lucky. He got away with a draw. And the second time, Fury punished him. Take your medicine and if you want the rematch, if you think you can still beat him, take the 3rd fight straight away. You know, but he left it. So I'm with Fury on that. I wouldn't give him another shot at it either. I'd be like, no, fuck you. I think him and Joshua have to fight. They have to, don't they? Surely. Yeah. I mean, I'd give Fury another little prep fight maybe in January. Or early February, and build up a big one in the summer. Next summer, when we get crowds back into the stadium, June, July, that kind of time, get it on in London. It's the obvious fight. It's the one everyone wants to see. And if I know, Alec, what you're saying is true. Alexander Usyk he'll be pleading his case. He should be fighting for a world title. He's the number 1. He's mandatory now. He's looking, but I think even him. It will surely make sense even for Usyk to let them 2 boys fight, because then you're number 1 mandatory for undisputed for all the belts. You let them 2 boys take care of their business, you know. Yeah. So in my eyes, that would be the most sensible thing to do. But boxing isn't run like that, as we've just talked about. You know, promotional company. I mean, people were saying Frank Warren. You know, him and Eddie Hearn have never got along. Him and Frank, and that could be a stumbling block. But I think. What do you think about that, Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn? I think the fight is too big for any of them to let their ego get in the way of making them that much money.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a fight that everyone wants to see. It's a fight that has to go ahead, you know, for undisputed. And I agree with you. I think if I was Usyk, I would wait. Right, and you got the belts on the line. But again, you got Dillian Whyte and Povetkin, another mandatory. The winner again mandatories. But I agree. I just think the best thing would be to let Joshua and Fury sort it out in the ring.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what the fans want, and you'd hope that's what the promoters want, because the money that is going to generate. I mean, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua in Wembley Stadium, say in June next year. Please God, fans are let back into stadiums now. But this could be one of the biggest fights in boxing history, let alone just modern day history. You know, so I don't see Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn tripping each other up over this fight. I think it will get made. I think. And the other thing is Bob Arum. Bob Arum is involved now. I hate Bob Arum. I think he's a bit of a snake, but if it comes to negotiations, he'll probably do most of the heavy lifting when it comes to the negotiations. So Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren probably won't have that much to do with each other, you know. Just sign the form, done it, and get out of my office, kind of thing.
Yeah, get it on. The amount of money that would generate. I mean, it won't be a fight. There'd definitely be a rematch involved in that. So you got two fights, potentially a third. You know, if Joshua won one, Fury won one, everyone would want to see the third. That's what I think anyway, definitely. But that would be a mad one.
And like I said, there would be, even if I can't see any way their first fight would end where people wouldn't say, I want to see that again. Unless they get met in the middle of the ring and just hugged each other for 12 rounds and it was that boring. People were like, oh, what a letdown that was. Kind of like Mayweather Pacquiao, do you know what I mean? I built my whole year on that fight and it was such a fucking disappointment. It was unreal. So unless it was one of them, people go, yeah, if Fury gets knocked out or he gets beat on points or Joshua gets knocked out, you can always say, listen, we'll come back, we'll do it again. People will pay for it because I think these two are too far clear of the rest of them.
Yeah.
For people not to be interested.
I totally agree. Who do you think if Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte got it back on again?
Again, I think Joshua is getting better. Joshua's on that upward curve. I like Dillian Whyte actually. I really do like him. I think he's quite an underrated fighter, and I think him and Usyk would be a good matchup as well. If they wanted to get it on and let Joshua and Fury get it on and them two fight and then say, right, so whoever wins that fight will fight to definitely make sure. Because I think he beats Povetkin next time round. I don't think he falls for that uppercut, you know. And he was fairly beating Povetkin there in that fight. So I quite like Dillian Whyte. Exactly. I'd still take Joshua though. I'd still take Joshua.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll be a dust up. I think that's another fight that fans would want to see. Just someone comment. AJ run in the ring and doesn't vote. I guess they're referring to the fight with Andy Ruiz. Again, for me, I don't fight that. I just come with different and put on a bit of a masterclass.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you. He changed his style, and that's what happened in that fight in the rematch, which is clever for me. You know, if you got found out by someone in your first fight, why would you not try and make them adjustments in the second fight to counter it? Now, I thought like you, it was his most explosive performance, and he's put in better performances, but it was clinical. It was clinical. It was cool. He didn't get hit like he did in the first fight, so it was job done for me. I'd like I said, I did bring this up earlier on. I would like to see him just be a little bit more aggressive and on the front foot. I think he's got that power that he can do that. You know.
I totally agree. And I think you hit the nail on the head. The thing with the Ruiz fight, it wasn't, you know, explosive. It was just a clinic from end. You know, Ruiz didn't train properly for the fight. He was out enjoying the money that he got. He's set. If he spends wisely, he's set for life now. You know, so he probably don't care. He loved the Snickers bar. Yeah. I just think Joshua, you know, outboxed him that night.
Yeah, and it was a clinical performance. That was the word. That's the word that sums it up. It was clinical. I bet his corner was delighted with it. I bet he was delighted with it. Like, the fans might not have been over the moon with it, but he did what he did to get his titles back. He went in there with no titles and come back out with the titles again. So he might have been running a little bit, but I just think that's wrong. That's him maturing as a boxer. You know, you can't blast him out of there all the time. And so take your time, and with his power, it will come anyway. You know.
Yeah, I mean, we've got another comment come up, but he wouldn't be able to with Fury. What's on that?
Yeah, no, that's absolutely correct. I think he'd have to change his style again to beat Fury, and I think he'd almost have to beat Fury on the inside. If he tries to stand up box Fury, I think he could be in big trouble. You're boxing a 6'9", 18-stone guy who's light on his feet and has a great selection of shots, and he knows when to use them. He's a different animal to every other heavyweight Joshua's faced. And on the other side, Joshua's a different animal to anyone Fury's ever faced. That's why this fight would be so good. But I'd agree with that. Definitely. He definitely wouldn't be able to box Fury like he boxed anyone else. He'd have to change his style again. I'd say he'd have to go onto the inside. But
yeah, I agree with that. I mean, as well with Fury, he's a heavy hitter. You know, that's my view. He's not someone you go over, and I think everyone knows that this is going to be the hardest challenge for Anthony Joshua, and that's providing he gets through. There's still no guarantee that he's going to beat Pulev tonight. I want him to beat Pulev, and you know he should beat Pulev. Yeah, but again, if he lost Pulev tonight, it's, you know, Fury ain't going to want the fight with him.
And that's the narrative Pulev's taken, and I suppose that's what you've got to talk yourself into. You've got to. If Pulev doesn't believe it, how can anyone else? So you expect that, and he's been chasing this for a long time as well. This world title, he has been chasing, so that could bring out like an extra 20% in someone that wasn't there before. But almost similar to Ruiz, like you said, that first night Ruiz he got dropped early, he got cut early. Yeah, he still got up, and he was 20% better that night than he's ever been. And then that was a big change in his life overnight, I suppose. And he just didn't know how to handle it. And he put on weight, all this kind of thing. But that one time, you never know what it's going to bring out of a fight. So you can't just write Pulev off. He looks in too good a shape to write off. He hasn't come here fat and undertrained or anything like that. He looks spot on.
Yeah. He's been a little lighter, and I heard them saying, you know, he's all this excess fat around his ribs, you know, he's took that off, so he's trimmed up for the fight. Joshua's trimmed for the fight, but I know a lot of people think as well, going back to the Ruiz coming heavy first fight. My opinion with that first fight, Ruiz. Just going off subject, I don't think Joshua was right that night. There was something different about him that I'm not making excuses. You know, Ruiz beat Joshua, he give him a beat down, but I just feel there wasn't something right with Joshua on that night.
Yeah, it was a tricky one. I tend to agree with that. But anytime you bring that up, it's automatically people go, "I don't make excuses. He just wasn't good enough." And you go, "Okay, well that's fair enough. He wasn't good enough." But there was something wrong with his legs. And usually Joshua has a great engine. He can go 12 rounds, no problem. As soon as he got hit that first time, his legs went. And I don't know if it was necessary there was something wrong with him. or I wouldn't go into like he had a bad training camp or something happened just before the fight. He hasn't said nothing, so why should we? It was I think maybe it was almost the way that first shot caught him, and it was right in behind the ear, and I think that knocked his balance out completely. And I don't think his legs ever really. He looked like he looked like Bambi on ice after he got hit behind the ear, and he never really recovered from that.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. From there on, it was all downhill for Joshua. But I remember him say, I think it was in about round seven, he said to Rob McCracken, "Why am I feeling like this?"
Yeah.
And me, that's a bit of a weird comment. There must be something wrong with you, or you're not feeling right, obviously. But yeah, I agree. I mean, that punch behind the ear, it was a cracking punch. And he just put the floor as well.
And that's kind of why I that's why I kind of go with that opinion that maybe he'd never been hit like that before. He'd never really been hit that cleanly in behind the ear. It's knocked his balance off. If he's been dropped, it's more of a flash knockdown, not to the chin or the eye or whatever. But that was a real in behind the ear, can knock your balance off. And maybe that's why I think he was saying, "Why am I feeling like this?" It's like, because you've been hit behind the ear, and you've never really been hit behind the ear like that before. You've never been caught clean with a concussive punch like that. I mean, listen, we're only speculating. It's going to be hard because I don't think Josh was the kind of guy that even if something was wrong that night before the fight, I don't think he'd come out and say it after. I think he'd just go, "All right, I was beaten by the better man. Let's get over it."
Yeah, I agree with that. So just then what prediction be for tonight? Then you had to pick a round. What round would you go for?
7.
I'm the same. I thought around 3-7. Sam was 7. I'm gonna go for round 3.
Oh, so you're going early.
I'm for the 7, but you go for the 7. I'm gonna go for 3 because I've got 3 in my mind. I think I could be an early one for Joshua, if not 7 to 10.
Yeah, like I said, between 5 and 7, I think the first rounds will be a tear up. I think they'll both come out. Yeah. Listen, the first round might just be a bit of a feeling out round. That's fairly normal. Yeah. But I think the second time, I think they're going to get into it pretty quick, these lads, tonight. It looks like genuine spite between them. Well, for some reason. I don't know why. But at that weigh-in, they look like there was genuine bit of spite between them boys. I don't know what was... I got that video you sent me of what was said. Yeah. Listen, when I listened to what was said, no, I don't think anybody really overstepped the mark. No one said anything for the other one to really lose the plot. It's pretty much what people say at the weigh-ins. So maybe there's something else going on.
A bit of hype before the fight, and just getting a bit of hype before the fight, because all through fight week they've been relaxed. You haven't heard. So it was kind of nice to see a bit of action yesterday. Like you said, tasty, bit tasty.
Yeah. It spiced. It definitely did spice it up because they've been very respectful. I've been watching the build-up of most of the week, and I thought these guys are almost too respectful. I want to see a little bit of spite in there somewhere, and then it kicks off with that, and I was like, "This is what we needed. Yeah. This is exactly what I saw." I seen a video this morning of Eddie Horn getting interviewed after the weigh-in, and Eddie Horn was on cloud nine with what happened. Eddie Horn's like, "It couldn't have fucking gone any better for me anyway." He said, Joshua looks all these. You could tell he loves that kind of thing. For a promoter, that's golden, isn't it? Anyone who wasn't going to buy the fight is definitely going to buy it after that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're going to be back anyway. So viewers, we're going to be back after the Anthony Joshua fight for reaction. So I'm going to let you go, Wayne. Thanking us. We'll return after the fight. Right, guys.